December 10th, 2024 meeting of the Richmond Sanitary District Board of Commissioners is called to order. The first item of business is to open the meeting for a public hearing for application to grant from the State Community Block Grant, CDBG, Wastewater Program. Speak to that?
Yeah. Greg is here.
Sure.
Yes, please.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. The company Klein Peter Consulting Group is assisting the City of Richmond and the Sanitary District in applying for a $750,000 grant from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. The application process requires 2 public hearings. We've held 1. This is number 2. The notice of this public hearing was published on November 27th in the Palladium Item newspaper. The purpose of the public hearing is to give the public an opportunity to hear about the project and to make comments and ask questions. So with that, I think what I would do is ask if either Elijah or if Mr. Smoker have anything they would like to add in defining what the project is and so on.
Yeah, the project is to, there's a levee around the wastewater treatment plant, which protects it from the East Fork of the Whitewater River. This levee was built in the 80s. It was never fully completed or certified. And over that time, it also needs some maintenance work. So this project would be to complete that levee, make all those upgrades, certify that levee, and to have all that maintenance work done so that the treatment plant can be protected from flood events. There's significant infrastructure within the treatment plant that is within the flood zone. If those pieces of equipment were lost, if they were totally lost, it could be up to $100 million in equipment itself. And we could be down for weeks or months even before we could get back to full treatment if those were lost. So this is just a measure to protect that treatment plant and that asset that the community needs to keep the community safe.
I would assume it also would help protect the river in the event of a breach or a catastrophic event.
Yeah, if the treatment plant was lost, we would be discharging those weeks to months, could be discharging raw sewage to the river. So during that time frame, yeah, there's several environmental and health concerns to such a state.
Any other comments? Elijah, you have anything to add? Or okay?
No, I don't think so.
I'll just ask, does anyone here have any questions or comments? If not, I will say part of the application process required that we do some research on this, and it's in particular very timely with the event of Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. We found multiple cases of communities very similar to the size of Richmond where their wastewater treatment plant was completely wiped out and will need to be replaced. And many of these newspaper stories pointed out that wastewater treatment plants, by and large, are generally located near rivers. So the upkeep and maintenance of this levee, we feel, is going to be a very competitive application in light of all this information that has come forward to the environmental damage that can be done, as well as it's more than just an inconvenience to people when they lose their water treatment and their wastewater treatment. So seeing no other comments, officially this covers the requirements of the public hearing. Yeah.
We do have a member in the public to speak too on behalf of this. In favor of this?
Come on up.
Yeah. Hi. I know you all, but I'm Allison Seidel, 625 Southwest 20th Street, and I'm a longstanding member of the Environmental Sustainability Commission, so thank you for allowing us to express our support. I'm also an employee for Earth Charter Indiana, which is a climate organization out of Indianapolis, and I'm the local resiliency coordinator for that. So the Environmental Commission was established in 2012 after being a council for many years. It was created to help protect our natural resources and ensure that there was always a body of environmental representatives to weigh in on potential positive or negative impacts of municipal projects and investments in the area. In 2020, we participated in the Hoosier Resilience Index assessment, which was done through Indiana University. Department heads from Richmond and personnel from Richmond evaluated their readiness for certain climate-related impacts. Richmond scored a 4.67 out of 10, which is not terrible, but the average of the Indiana cities that participated was a 4.95. The good news was that Richmond knew where their deficiencies was. So Richmond was very smart about, we know we've done this, we haven't done that, as opposed to some other communities who actually didn't know where they were on some of these scales, which was great for us to actually know what needs to be done. Additionally, Richmond Rising Comprehensive Plan, approved in 2020 by the Richmond Council, addresses the floodplain management and stormwater on pages 52, 53. I won't go into it because it's very long, but it is there. And the unanimously council-approved Climate Action Plan also addresses stormwater management and flooding preparations and strategies 1C, 1D, and 1E. So this is clearly a priority for the community. Both of those were approved by council. This project is in line with both that comp plan and the climate action plan, and it would certainly help to protect not only our natural resources, but of course, as you just mentioned, human health, both for our community and downriver. We want to be good stewards of those communities downriver who absorb the things we do right and the things we do wrong. So I will take any questions you might have. I am not the chair of the commission. They're not able to be here today, but I can answer any questions that you might have.
I appreciate your support and your bringing that information to the board. It's very, very important. And I thank you as well for
So with that, thank you again. Unless anyone else has any comments, this will conclude the public hearing then. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as mentioned, I will close the public hearing for the application as discussed. Hearing no other, I don't think we usually vote on that. The next item of business is the approval of board minutes from November 26th of 2024.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion for approval of board minutes from November 26, 2024 is presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve the board minutes of November 26th of 2024 as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is approval of invoices from check dates November 22nd and 27th of 2024.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
motion for approval of invoices from check date November 22nd and 27th, 2024. The total amount was $266,828.82. Two notables came from Pyramid Equipment Incorporated in the amounts of $53,403.75, and the second was for $82,500.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve invoices from check dates November 22nd and 27th of 2024 totaling $266,828.82. Are there any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the director's report.
Thank you, Madam President and Board. I don't really have much before you now. I'm still working on the October and November monthly reports, but I will get those to you. Likely present those at the start of the year, but as you know, at the end of the year too, I do kind of a year-end wrap-up report, so I will put that together and hopefully have that by February or so for the board. But it looked to be overall a good year. Several projects were completed or moved forward. Financially, we have been working within and operating within our budget. Under those aspects, overall, it looks like generally for the months, we have overall maintained services within typical ranges. Nothing seems to be any anomalies that I can see, really. We were notably, the one piece was we received slightly less construction waste than we normally do at the landfill, though we did get a few bigger projects at the end of the year here. As an overall year, we were slightly low on that, but everything else really kind of fell within where I would expect. But we can go over that in more detail once the report is put together at the first of the year.
And has LEAF drawn to a close?
If it doesn't this week, I think it's next week. I'd have to look. I can't remember.
Okay. Any questions? That will take us to the recommendation to award the quote for the purchase of primary draw pump installation.
Yes, Madam President and Board Member, at our November 26th board meeting, this board received a quote for the installation of our primary draw pumps, which were awarded at our last meeting. Maddox of Industrial Group of Indianapolis, Indiana, was the only vendor to quote this installation. After reviewing their quote, it's my recommendation to the board to award this to Maddox Industrial Group of Indianapolis, Indiana, at the cost of $32,850. Maddox was the most responsive and responsible company to quote this project. And as I've said before, Maddox has done a lot of work for us in the past and been good to work with.
Thank you. And we had separately approved the purchase at the last meeting.
Yes.
Okay, I remembered we'd opened them, but make sure we approved it. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to award quote for purchase of primary draw pump installation as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to award the quote for the purchase of the primary draw pump installation as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve change order to contract 194-2023 with Cooley Contracting for tunnel repairs.
Yes, Madam President and Board. This project repaired concrete at different areas of the plant, along with injecting grout in our underground tunnel that connects a few of the buildings to stop leaking and corrosion within that tunnel. And during that process, some additional grouting was identified, and so this is for that additional work. And so it's my recommendation to approve a change order for $7,975 with Cooley Contracting for this additional grout work.
Questions, or I will entertain a motion.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to approve change order to contract 194-2023 with Cooley Contracting for tunnel repairs as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve change order to contract 194-2023 with Cooley Contracting for tunnel repairs as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve the contribution agreement for 1881 Airport Road.
Yes, Madam President and Board. This is a contribution project that was done a good number of years ago, but over the past several years, we've had some individual properties that didn't connect at the time of installation of the main sewer, but that are interested in connecting now. This is actually for a new house that was on a vacant parcel, which was included as part of the original project at 1881 Airport Road. So it's my recommendation to approve this contribution agreement for 1881 Airport Road, allowing this house to connect to the sewer for the cost of connection for them will be $1,426, which is the same as what everyone else paid for this project. And we do offer financing on that, the typical, same as what was approved again for everyone else who connected at this time, for up to 5 years at 4%. I do not know if this person will utilize that or not, but it's my recommendation to approve this contribution agreement.
Thank you. Do we separately bill if they, or does that become part of their utility bill?
How do we do it? We
separate it.
I know it used to be separate.
I'm pretty sure it's separated now.
Okay, and it used to be quarterly is how they would do that, so.
And do you have any idea, I mean, I think it was supposed to be about 50, it's divided over about 50 parcels or something?
This
You
one?
know how many
56, I think.
have been taken?
I didn't do that.
Oh, have actually,
Oh,
Are we-
probably all but maybe there's 2 or 3 outstanding ones now that have just connected in the past couple of years, and I don't know if they paid fully up front or not.
We should have recovered most of the costs then.
Yes, yeah, on this particular project, most of the cost has been collected and recouped by now.
Any other questions or motion?
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Bakshi.
motion for recommendation to approve the contribution agreement for 1881 Airport Road as presented.
And I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve contribution agreement for 1881 Airport Road as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And that takes us to miscellaneous, and I understand that we have a funds transfer.
Couple account transfer that takes board action. That being said, as you all have been told in the past, the director and I can authorize and send and sign budget transfers of the same type of accounts. When we do unlike accounts, like a 4,000 to a 2,000 account, that does take board approval or recommendation to the finance department. That being said, page 2 on this is a landfill account of 2221-0503, 301, 3120. I'm asking the board to move $12,000 to the 221-0503-203-2320 account. That's for solid waste, or that's for landfill. The solid waste, I'm asking the board to move from 2 different accounts and put into three different accounts. Our 6601, 0505, and 503-4310 in the amount of $13,611. We will be moving $6,611 to 6601, 0506, 306, 3620, and then $7,000 to 6601, 0506, 203, 2320. And then out of our 6601, 0506, 505, 4490, we'd ask the board to move $1,000 to our 6601, 0506, 202, 2410 account. This is a total of $14,611.
Thank you. Any questions?
Do we approve all as a blanket transfer is the first question. Is it?
AJ, do you hear?
I am, and those can be done in a single motion, yes.
Okay, thank you. And do we need like what the reasons are?
I can give you the reason, if that's, for the landfill, we're moving the money into our parts and equipment account to finish out the rest of the year. And then our solid waste, we're moving money out of our capital account to our it's repair parts and equipment account, the 3620. And then in our 6601, 0506, 202, 2410, this is for additional supplies needed to finish the rest of the year.
And there's some clarification that in the landfill, we were moving it from a place where we service equipment using like a third party, like a contractual service, to us buying the parts and doing the work ourselves.
Got it.
And the other is items, and part of this is finance, just adjusting some of those rules. Some of these things are things we would buy as capital in the past. I mean, they were, whether it's office supplies or certain things, sometimes those, like furniture would get bought out of, I'm just giving an example, could be bought out of capital, and we're wanting to streamline that some more so that these smaller items, instead of lumping them in with capital, sometimes would go to 2,000 and buying those in those parts. So these just needed to be switched in that order. So it's still, a lot of these are repairs. We're just moving it from having the repair done outside, out of house to in-house, and we just need to buy those parts that way.
Perfect. That helps, thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion?
I will try. President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Baxi.
Motion to approve the account transfers as presented.
That easy.
There you go.
I will second the motion. There's a motion and a second to approve the account transfers as presented. AJ didn't say that's not enough, so we'll go with it. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other business to be brought before the board today? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
and I will second the motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. We are adjourned, and I will turn the meeting over to Acting President Bakshi for the Stormwater Board.
Thank you so much. I'd like to call to order the Richmond Sanitary District Stormwater Management Board meeting for December 10th, 2024. The first item on the agenda is the approval of board minutes from November 26th, 2024.
And I would like to make a motion to approve the board minutes for November 26, 2024, as presented.
I will second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of invoices from check date November 22nd and 27th, 2024.
And President Bakshi, I would like to make a motion to approve invoices from check dates November 22nd and 27th of 2024, totaling $26,634.15.
I will second. If there's any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Takes us to miscellaneous. Is there anything for miscellaneous? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I second, so we are adjourned. Thank you.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.